You wake up before the sun, but not by choice. A guard kicks your ribs hard enough to make you taste copper. You're 23 years old, and you've been sentenced to 10 years of hard labor for the crime of existing in the wrong village at the wrong time. The Qin Emperor needs bodies to build his wall, and your body just became state property. They don't tell you where you're going. They just chain you to 40 other men and march you north for 3 weeks. Your feet bleed through your cloth shoes. The guy chained directly in front of you is a broad-shouldered farmer named Marcus. He doesn't talk much the first few days. Then, on day 5, he starts sharing his water ration with you without being asked. You don't know why. You don't ask. Kindness doesn't need a reason when you're chained together walking toward hell. On day 9, a man further up the line collapses. They don't unchain him. They drag his corpse for 2 more miles until a supervisor finally gets annoyed and hacks the chain apart. You step over the body and keep walking. Marcus looks back at you. His face says everything. Remember this. This is what we are to them. When you finally arrive at the construction site, you expect to see a wall. Instead, you see hell with scaffolding. Thousands of men swarm over a massive dirt ramp like ants on a carcass. The air smells like sweat, shit, and limestone dust. You're assigned to Unit 7, a work gang of 50 men. Marcus is assigned with you. Your job is simple. Move rocks until you die. The wall isn't made of stones you can carry. These are blocks that weigh as much as 3 grown men. Your team uses wooden levers, rope, and sheer desperation to inch them up the ramp. If the supervisor sees a crack in a block, he makes you haul it back down and fetch another one. You learn quickly that efficiency isn't about working smart. It's about not getting beaten. Marcus becomes your anchor. He teaches you how to wrap your hands so the rope doesn't saw through to the bone. Shows you how to shift your weight when lifting so your spine doesn't snap. At night, he tells you about his daughter. She'd be 4 now. He carved a wooden horse for her the day before they took him. He wonders if she still has it. You tell him she does. You don't know if that's true, but hope is the only currency that matters here. The rations are a sick joke. Twice a day, a bowl of millet porridge so thin you can see your reflection in it. Sometimes a piece of dried fish that tastes like salted leather. You're always hungry. The kind of hunger that makes you dream about food more vividly than you dream about freedom. One night, you watch a man named Wu get caught stealing an extra ration. They don't execute him. They cut off his hand and make him keep working. He dies from infection 3 days later. Then winter arrives like an executioner. The temperature drops so low that the water in the buckets freezes solid. Men start dying not from accidents, but from simple cold. They go to sleep and don't wake up. The supervisors don't reduce the workload. They just replace the dead with fresh prisoners. Marcus gets sick in the 3rd week of winter, a cough that starts shallow and goes deep. You give him your extra cloth to wrap around his chest. You take his heavier loads when the supervisors aren't looking. He tells you to stop. Says you'll kill yourself trying to keep him alive. You tell him to shut up and keep moving. He lasts 9 more days. On the 10th morning, you shake him awake and he doesn't move. His body is stiff, his eyes are half open. The wooden horse he'd been carving from a scrap piece, the one he was going to somehow send to his daughter, is still clutched in his frozen hand. You pry it loose and put it in your pocket. The guards drag his body to the pit with hundreds of others. You watch this time. You don't look away. Something dies in you that morning. Not hope exactly. More like the part of you that believed suffering had limits. Marcus was the strongest person you knew, and the wall ate him like he was nothing. You realize there's no surviving this by being tough. Toughness just means you die tired. That's when you meet Chen. Chen's been here 2 years. He's thin, sharp-eyed, and he has something nobody else at the worksite has. A plan. He approaches you the night after Marcus dies. He says he's been watching you, says you're smart enough to be useful and desperate enough to be brave. He wants to show you something. His plan is mathematically insane, and that's exactly why it might work. He's calculated that if Unit 7 consolidates all resources, works in coordinated shifts instead of scattered chaos, and eliminates every wasted motion, you can double your output. A new supervisor has just arrived offering extra rations for units that exceed their quota. Chen calls it leverage. You implement the system. Instead of each man hauling individual stones, you form a human chain. The strongest at the quarry, the middle tier passing materials up the slope, the detail builders at the top. No movement is random. Every calorie spent with purpose. By sunset, Unit 7 has moved 90 feet of wall. The average is 60. The supervisor notices. The next day, your unit receives double rations. The extra bowl of porridge isn't much, but it's everything. You can feel your body responding, your muscles remembering they're capable of more than just surviving. Week 2, you hit 100 feet. The supervisor gives you salted pork, actual meat. Men from other units stare with hollow eyes. Some approach Chen at night, asking how to replicate your success. He shares the method freely. Within a month, 3 other units adopt the system. Production across the entire site increases 30%. That's when you realize Chen's actual plan. He wasn't trying to get extra rations. He was trying to make himself indispensable. The regional commander visits to inspect the productivity spike. He watches Unit 7 work for an entire day. At sunset, he summons Chen. You don't see Chen for 2 days. When he returns, he's different, cleaner, new clothes and actual shoes. The commander offered him a position as work coordinator. Not a prisoner anymore. Salary, lodging, the ability to send money home to his daughter. Chen negotiated something else. He convinced the commander that the system only works if the implementer has a trusted assistant. He recommended you. The commander agreed. You should feel relief. Instead, you feel rage, because you realize what Chen actually did. He sold hope to desperate men, turned their suffering into profit for the empire, and used their bodies as proof of concept for his own advancement. And now, you're complicit. The next morning, you're removed from the labor line, given a supervisor's jacket and a wooden tablet for record keeping. Your first assignment is Worksite 12, 2 weeks west. The conditions there make your old site look merciful. The workers are skeletal. The supervisors openly brutal. You want to refuse and leave. But Chen is watching your performance. Your family's safety depends on your success. So you do what you've learned to do. You bury your conscience and you execute. You implement the system in stages. Force the commanders to improve rations first. Identify the strongest workers and build functional units around them. Within 3 weeks, production increases. By month 2, Worksite 12 exceeds its quota for the first time in a year. You receive a commendation and a bonus payment. You send the money home. You don't include a letter. What would you even say? 6 months pass. You've optimized 8 sites. You're good at this, and that knowledge sits in your stomach like poison. Chen gets promoted to regional coordinator. He brings you to the capital for a ceremony. The emperor acknowledges the production increases. Chen receives a medal. You stand 3 steps behind him. That night, Chen pours expensive wine and toasts to survival, to intelligence winning over brutality. You raise your cup, you drink, and you realize that the wall isn't the prison. The prison is what you became to escape it. Years pass. Silk robes instead of a supervisor's jacket. Your own estate. Your family lives comfortably. Your daughter attends school. Your son will never know what a work site looks like. You've succeeded in every measurable way. One morning, a letter arrives from the frontier, an old supervisor you worked with. His message is brief. The quotas keep increasing. Every time production improves, the targets get raised. The coordination system was supposed to save lives, but now it just means men work harder before they die. You burn the letter. You don't respond. Chen dies at 62. Honored, celebrated. You deliver the eulogy. You speak about his genius, his vision. Some of it is even true. At the funeral, a young engineer approaches you. bright-eyed, ambitious. He studied your methods at the academy. He wants to optimize the system further. He asks for your mentorship. You look at him. You see yourself 3 decades ago, the same hunger, the same certainty that intelligence can solve anything, the same blindness to what solving actually costs. You agree to meet him next week. The wall is finished now. It stretches across the entire northern frontier. Millions of stones, millions of man-hours. A monument to imperial power and administrative efficiency. Your system built it. You visit the wall once before you die. You stand at the base and look up. It's magnificent, solid, eternal. A farmer passes by leading an ox. He doesn't look at the wall. It's just part of his landscape now. In 3 generations, nobody will remember the cost. They'll just see the result. You place your hand on the stone. It's cold. The blocks don't carry the memory of the men who moved them. There's no trace of Marcus or Wu or the countless others who died building this thing. Just stone stacked on stone, stretching toward the horizon. You reach into your robe and pull out a small wooden horse, worn smooth from 30 years of handling. Marcus never finished carving it. The legs are uneven, the head is too big, but you've carried it every single day since that frozen morning. You set it at the base of the wall. It's the only memorial Marcus will ever get. A half-finished toy from a father who never came home, placed against the thing that killed him by the person who turned his death into a career. You head home. Your grandson is waiting. He wants to hear stories about the great construction. You'll tell him about the engineering, the logistics, the triumph of human coordination. You won't tell him about Marcus. You won't tell him about the pit. You won't tell him that the wall he admires was built on bones and that his grandfather helped make the machine that ground them down. The wall will outlast your truth anyway.